Pacific Group to present West Papua case at PIF meeting. Daru teachers threaten to boycott national exams. And Response Committee wants more funds to assist in relief efforts.
This is National EMTV News with Tokana Hasavi.
A very good evening to you. This is Friday's news and it's good to have your company again. The Pacific is not free if West Papua is not free. That's the message a coalition of civil society organizations will bring to the Pacific Islands Leaders Forum next week. This message comes after 2 days of shared experiences among the civil society organizations where the West Papuan cause was given special attention.
Donatus Karuri took part in the gathering as the founder and leader of a West Papuan cultural performance group in Port Moresby. He was educated and worked in the Cultural Commission in Indonesia. In 1984, he had to leave for PNG after a close friend and colleague died.
Now all I'm you don't stop here. You must move. You go Papua New Guinea and by you promoting culture.
It is estimated that there are over 7,000 West Papuans now living in PNG. Around the world, there are thousands more. After the event of the 1960s leading up to the Act of Free Choice, many West Papuans sought refuge around the world. After struggling with support for his work in PNG for a while, Karuri went to the Netherlands for 4 years to seek support.
Me go inside, me explain no culture. How you promote now, you got support, international support in struggle.
The struggle is for a free and independent West Papua from Indonesia. In the Pacific, the strongest political voice and action is coming from the people and government of Vanuatu, where recent political events show there is a unanimous support for the liberation of West Papua. Closer to home, Peter O'Neill, PNG's Prime Minister, made a statement at the PNG's Leaders Summit in February, which is seen as a historic political statement in recognition of what O'Neill described as brutalities on West Papuans across the border.
Time has come for us to speak about the oppression of our people there. Pictures of brutality of our people appear daily on the social media, and yet we take no notice.
Next week, the leaders of 14 Pacific Island states will meet here in Port Moresby to discuss development issues in the Pacific. As a lead-up to this meeting, a group of civil society organizations across the Pacific met to discuss recommendations they will bring to the Pacific leaders. Along with climate change is the West Papua issue.
And a fact-finding mission. We're also calling for the reinscription of West Papua in the decolonization list of the United Nations.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
An ultrasound device is being introduced to PNG to help address high infant and maternal mortality rates. PNG's medical fraternity will, for the first time, be introduced to this latest handheld device called V-Scan. The device is already being used in other developing countries.
The V-Scan is a compact ultrasound device comparable to the size of a mobile phone and is easy to use. It provides high-quality scanning images that can be read on site or sent to distant hospitals for consultations via telehealth. The consulting hospitals that will be part of the project are Port Moresby General Hospital and Children's Hospital Colorado, a top 5 children's hospital in the United States. PNG Tribal Foundation and General Electric have joined with Enga Provincial Health Authority to pilot the project in the province over a period of 2 years. 7 V-Scan devices will be distributed to rural and remote clinics in the province, hoping to detect pregnancy anomalies and other internal health issues in advance and diagnose or refer patients to bigger hospitals accordingly. The project was welcomed by Enga Governor Sir Peter Ipatas.
We're not doing so well with the mortality rate up there in the province, as well as the country. And so when this opportunity came, we have opted to trial it with this partnership.
This project is a challenging one for the team, previously introduced with great success in other countries, but none as remote as PNG. Volunteer couple and medical professionals Dr. Mark Hauswald and Dr. Nancy Kerr from Telluride, Colorado, have been engaged through a tribal foundation to assist in the project by providing training and consultation to local staff on ground.
Any high-risk situation that we could have her then, the physician or midwife or nurse sister who's taking care of her could take special preparation and precautions ahead of time.
Currently sold on the market for approximately 30,000 kina per device, co-project coordinator and president for the PNG Tribal Foundation, Gary Bustin, says in the long run he hopes the market price will become more affordable to enable doctors to have a V-scan each to save lives.
This is scanning technology that's going to be available to people from, small villages, and so we're very excited about that.
Vanessa Knight, National EMTV News.
Teachers at the Daru Secondary in Western are planning to boycott the grades 10 and 12 national examinations come October. This follows the delay in their leave entitlements from 2014 and the previous years. A petition was presented to the Provincial Education Board in Daru on August 24, but so far the teachers claim there has been no response.
The plan to boycott the examinations in October is one decision that teachers are planning to conduct to demonstrate their frustration on the delay in their leave entitlements.
Our leave entitlements must be paid to us before the exams.
A group of teachers from Daru Secondary told MTV News they will boycott the examinations because the Western Provincial Education Board has not delivered its promises for at least 2 years.
So now we are appealing to the relevant authorities to come good now and sort us our outstanding leave entitlements. These are leave entitlements that belongs to us. It's not theirs that we are asking for. They have to sort us out. We, Daru Secondary School, are taking their lead, and we will take it. We have made a resolution. We will stand by the decision.
The delay in issuing the leave entitlements for teachers in all government schools in Papua New Guinea is a continuous battle between the teachers and the education department. For teachers in Daru, there were meetings between Daru Secondary School teachers and the Western PEB since December 2014. However, the teachers say there are no positive signs that they will receive their promised leave entitlements.
I came from East New Britain last year. Because I did not get leave ticket there, I had to apply for leave ticket here. And we never got that ticket. And I think we argued with these people for the kind of services provided here. I see that the services here are quite poor.
The delay in leave entitlements has affected the education of students at Daru Secondary. On 2 different occasions, classes were suspended this year after the teachers refused to teach. But the threat to boycott the national examinations come October has received support from the 5 primary schools in Daru, and this is the avenue that teachers plan to use to stage their frustrations.
My outstanding from 2001, and today this is 14 years I'm still waiting.
Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
A National Education Department report has revealed the declining of literacy rates in Papua New Guinea. The National Literacy Week report highlighted that 23 districts have scored a very low literacy rate of less than 40%. This report states that this stems from factors like untrained teachers and poor quality curriculum.
40 years of independence is a reflection of the country's literacy rate, believed to be progressing at a snail's pace. The 2014 literacy report revealed 33 of 111 districts account for less than 40%. 83% are from the Highlands region, with Karamui Nomane lowest with 20.2%. Areas that need attention include education reforms, universal education access, building education capacity, improved distribution of learning materials, and partnering with private sector and legislative reforms as key strategies towards achieving a desired highly literate and appropriately skilled workforce. According to National Literacy and Awareness Secretary Director Emmanuel Jondu, This year's theme, Quality Literacy, Quality Education, reflects literacy as paramount and key to education. The onus lies on the literate and numerate citizens to enhance development of this nation.
For development, constructive development of our country, firstly starting in the families, then going out to the communities, and then the whole nation.
The report recommends elected MPs for the 23 districts must join forces with the respective provincial administrations, National Education Department and civil society organizations to ensure 70% of the population are print literate by year 2030. Mr. John Daru's hope is for people to be empowered through functional literacy programs and not just basic reading and writing.
That functional literacy skills, qualities in them, so that they become agents of change for development.
UNESCO has identified PNG as one of the 35 countries in the Asia Pacific that needs to improve adult literacy rate. This also calls for the literacy policy to be updated to suit the 21st century. John Daru said that education is everyone's business and the national government is actively supporting ongoing education initiatives. The Secretariat acknowledges strong economic and social development can only be sustained through a highly literate and numerate workforce. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
On a related topic, Simbu Province is the host of this year's National Literacy Week. The announcement is from the National Literacy and Awareness Secretariat.
Quality literacy, quality education is the theme for this year's 20th National Literacy Week. It reflects literacy as paramount and key to education.
In order for quality education to be known and for people to get the benefits, you have to have quality literacy. Literacy is paramount. That's the key to education in the country.
Simbu has been preparing for this event since the bid was awarded, with education officers from the provincial to district level working tirelessly to make it a memorable event.
And me sabi also yung pag-working style ko Simbu na islaw celebration ko Simbu by golong magungin.
The National Literacy and Awareness Secretariat urged all schools nationwide to celebrate in meaningful ways. Literacy Week is from 7 to 11 September next week. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Well, National EMTV News continues with the day's other top stories coming up after this break. Stay with us. Good to have you back with the news. Gulf Governor Havila Kavo wants to see downstream processing in the country. In an exclusive interview with EMTV News, he said that the government has to start drafting policies that encourages downstream processing of our raw materials.
Governor Kavo had a lot to say on the current way the government was handling the processing of resources. He believes that the government should start drafting policies that encourage downstream processing in Papua New Guinea.
It needs to stop this idea of exporting raw materials. Rather, we should now have downstream processing facilities in a country. If we are to make many PNG-made products.
He said he will be presenting a paper in the next parliamentary sitting in October on how the government can look into industrializing PNG. He claims that PNG, when selling raw materials, end up becoming the loser at the end of the value chain, while the countries who import the raw materials, such as gas and timber, are on top of the chain once they sell the final product.
Materials that can be processed into finished product and then turn them into making items and products that can have PNG labels and be sold at an added value, giving everybody created many jobs.
Kavo also went on to say that his province would stop logging until a processing company is set up in his province.
I am in the process of putting a stop to any operations of round logs in Gao province. And I am calling on these developers like RH to fulfill its commitment of building downstream processing facilities in every permitted logging sites in a province and in a country.
He would like to see his people benefit more from their resources and allow development at the local level government. Adelaide Sirox Kari, National EMTV News.
The Leh Botanical Garden is one that has received little attention over the years. Today, Swire Shipping in Leh donated 70,000 kina to the National Forest Research Institute in Leh for the garden's redevelopment. Acting Director of NFRI, Dr. Martin Goldman, says the Botanic Garden has embarked on a master plan that includes redevelopment.
This dummy check presented today will go towards the design process of 4 smaller gardens that will be built within the Leh Botanic Garden. Swire Shipping in Leh has donated 70,000 kina to the National Forest Research Institute to begin planning recreational and sightseeing features of the large habitat. National Forest Research Institute Acting Director Dr. Martin Goldman said implementation of the actual projects would require further funding assistance.
But we need something to go in with the plan in order for it to be implemented. Hopefully, through this kind of assistance we are getting and with
Occupying 38 hectares of land, this botanic garden is home to over 1,000 plant species grown beneath a dense forest. At the northern side of the garden lies the preserved Australian Air Force plane that gives a historical scene of Papua New Guinea. Some corporate houses in Leh have realized the ecotourism potential this botanic garden could have for Leh's community.
Be developed in the garden, so we're very happy to make that contribution, and then hopefully we're hoping that there's a lot of other companies now who've heard about the project and are becoming interested.
The current state of this garden has required the NFRI to do a full rehabilitation. However, funding has been a challenge. Colin Barilai, National EMTV News, Leh.
The old mining town of Wau in the Morobe province is not exactly a place where investors would want to go. Roads have deteriorated over the years, and the small town has a high crime rate spurred by high unemployment. But that hasn't stopped a local business from reinvesting in the town. Jabanadi, a retail business, has opened a new shop in the dusty town amidst moves by the Bulolo district to revive what used to be a thriving mining hub in the 1920s and 1930s.
For a town long avoided by businesses, the opening of Jabanadi's new store has given the people of Wau some hope that their town may just get into the good books of investors. Local company Jabanadi has been in this town for 25 years. They've reinvested some of their profits into this store.
We hope it'll encourage people to stay in Wau. There's a lot of gold mining around here, and that the customers will remain here rather than going down to Leh.
Wau grew from what used to be jungle into a thriving town in the gold rush years of the 1920s and 1930s. When the foreign miners left, the town fell into disrepair. The roads deteriorated and the infrastructure crumbled. Today, the remnants of this mining town still stand. Serious crimes like armed robbery happen on a regular basis, and unemployment is high. But the Bulolo district is working towards making this place a growth center by linking outlying areas to this district.
We're opening up a road into permanent, good road into Daru, and then eventually it will end up to connecting Kasangara and Sim and then Bapi of Warrior. Coffee bags is the main business there, and we will see most of those coming out.
The journey to making Wau a growth center isn't an easy one. The town has its own problems, and yesterday the Bulolo MP called for the resignation of the town manager and for the removal of reserve constables. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Leh.
And now let's check out the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3565 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was trading at $0.3490 US, $0.4946 Australian dollars, $0.3102 euro, and 41.55 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, cocoa, and copra all closed the day higher. Palm oil and copper closed higher as well, while crude oil closed the day lower. And finally, on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 27 points higher, the ASX closed at 71 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 69 points higher as well. The dry spell in Eastern Highlands, new appointments in the autonomous Bougainville government, and more from the Grand Chief on the use of the King James Bible in Parliament. We'll give you the details of those stories when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Parts of the Eastern Highlands are feeling the pinch of the country's dry spell. Hanganofi, Obura Waninara, Ongai Bena are some of the areas being hit hard with El Niño conditions. The Eastern Highlands PEC have put together a response committee, but more funding is needed from the national government.
In the Obura Waninara district, crops are struggling to grow because water in the soil has dried up. In Hanganofi, water in tanks have been depleted, sewage systems has stopped working, affecting the work of public servants. Community health workers around the province fear the worst. Without water, dysentery and waterborne diseases could become the lethal killer. District disaster coordinators are now scrambling to get all reports into the provincial headquarters in Goroka.
Stable food produce cocoa. Na lokunai cassava or tapio. Na banana. Planti blo desro kake dry penis. Planti line blo yumi oli kisimbagra blo angre. Wara mi dry. Na planti lo mi plan now is like kisim ground in wara inside ground. There's like two dry penis. Planti school pass.
Hanganofi MP Robert Atiafa has called on the provincial government to solve its differences in the administration and help the people with relief supplies. The Eastern Highlands provincial government has been facing an impasse over the position of the provincial administrator.
Therefore, I asked them to come back to their work and cooperate with the acting provincial administrator, and let's deliver to the people of Eastern Highlands.
Eastern Highlands Governor Julie Soso says the impasse has been solved after an agreement was reached between the old provincial administrator and the newly appointed.
We have established a disaster committee, and my PEC had already resoluted that we will look at whatever funds that we have. We put some fund aside to go and look at our affected areas. When report comes in, we will go and see them. But big plus something, I want the national government's support too also here.
Most schools in the 9 districts of the Eastern Highlands have been sending children home. The Hanganofi High School has shut down, and other primary schools have also shut down. Now, public servants have also stopped working in some parts. The situation might get worse when more people start to die from starvation and dehydration. There are also reports of people dying in the Hanganofi district. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV News.
The drawdown of powers and functions from the national government to the autonomous Bougainville government has seen the appointment of departmental heads. President Chief John Momis told EMTV News that performance of these new departmental heads will be measured according to the Bougainville Public Service Law.
Chief Momis, who also chairs the Bougainville Senior Appointments Committee, has announced 7 new departmental heads for the Bougainville Public Service. The new secretaries are Justin Bogia, Community Development, Herbert Kimai, Community Government, Clement Otavun, Health, Kenneth Nani, Corrective Services and Justice, and the Principal Legal Advisor, Thomas Betatis, Primary Industries, Paul Kebori, Personal Management and Administrative Services, and Bernard Chilu, Technical Services. Chief Momis said these appointees provide a mix of experience and new blood and will play a critical role in delivering strong and effective governance for Bougainville to people's expectations. The appointments have been made following a rigorous, transparent and merit-based process required by law. As a result of these appointments, 6 departmental heads posts yet to be filled. The Senior Appointments Committee has decided to re-advertise these vacancies with the objective of attracting a broader pool of suitable applicants. Fabian Hakaritz, National EMTV News.
The Papua New Guinea national government must fulfill its commitment to Bougainville. This is the call from opposition leader Don Pollier. Mr. Pollier was concerned that matters concerning autonomous arrangements in the Bougainville peace agreements were not being fully honoured by the national government. ABG President Chief John Momis has called on the national government to settle all that is owing to the region.
The opposition leader was responding to questions raised by EMTV on matters concerning Bougainville's funds. Mr. Pollier said he was disappointed the national government hasn't fully honoured the Bougainville peace agreement on financial arrangements with outstanding monies. Delay of funds has affected operations.
And that is not just, because when you sign a covenant between 2 parties or several parties, then that covenant it must be maintained.
He says the national government has a major role to play in bringing Bougainville towards its future destiny and must enhance the peace agreement.
Within that context of economic development, the government failing to commit to its commitment in the peace agreement, it's a big concern to all of us.
In an exclusive interview with Bougainville President Chief John Momis, he says the national government still owes Bougainville monies.
For the Restoration Development Grant, we now, according to our calculation, they owe us probably over 400 million kina.
ABG is totally dependent on national government budgetary allocation because of the region's smaller internal revenue. Momis says Bougainville was reduced to basic humanity because of the civil war, a role the national government must actively address.
It makes the job doubly difficult when funding is not adequate. So it's a constant issue that we have to deal with in JSP meetings, and hopefully.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
The King James Version of the Bible must not be used as a political tool to reform the Parliament. This comment was made following a strong opposition from Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare and the Catholic Professional Society. Catholic Professional Society President Paul Harricknen says the Bible will not put a stop to corruption in our political system. Rather, it's our leaders who must make the change themselves.
The King James Version of the Bible, brought in from the United States by Parliament Speaker Theo Zirnok and other leaders, will be placed in the Parliament chamber in a proposed move to bring a drastic change to the Parliament and our political leaders. Other leaders like Southern Highlands Governor William Powie have been vocal on the matter to have the Bible permanently placed in Parliament. However, in a media conference yesterday, the Catholic Professional Society, backed by the Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare, made the announcement that the Bible must not be used as a political tool.
The King James itself is more a political tool that the Speaker and his group are using to try and push their agenda than being a genuine, faith-based move.
Sir Michael made a strong opposition to the proposed parliament reform. He said the parliament was built on good intentions, and what the speaker is planning to remove all traditional carvings and structures in the parliament, as he claimed are idolized structures, is totally wrong. He said the country's constitution was built upon our cultures and traditions.
The totems you see in the parliament, they are made up of a history of a country. Any history that is written, it's written by the basis of how people were living at the time. And we wrote the Constitution that way. But I'm not going to preach to everybody and tell them about the Constitution. I think everybody knows. We had deliberate and good intentions when we wrote the Constitution.
However, Catholic Professional Society President Paul Harricknen said if the Speaker and the leaders want change in Parliament, the change must come from them.
Now they're passing the buck to say that the carvings and the totems cause evil and corruption. So let's replace it and bring Bible in. They're looking at objective external things. Now this is where it's wrong. They have misconceived and they are misleading the people to distract the people to think that and blame evil and corruption on objects, when evil and corruption is in the MPs themselves and is in the executive government.
Stanley Ovett Jr., National EMTV News.
The Catholic Professionals Society has condemned the attack on a bishop in Lae, Morobe Province 2 weeks ago. Bishop Christian of Lae was attacked after he tried to stop a street preacher preaching against the Catholic Church, as reported in one of the dailies. The dailies reported that the street preacher was criticizing the Pope and alleging the Catholic Church of practicing demonic worships.
I want to announce that we will not stop at that. We will now proceed to get the police commissioner and the police to arrest those preachers and their leadership, whoever is behind that preaching, and prosecute them. Because one,
it's a criminal offense. It's a criminal offense of breach of the peace. It's a criminal offense of spreading false rumors. It's a criminal offense of assault. We want to send a message to all Papua New Guineans and to all people in Papua New Guinea that this is not allowed, this is not tolerated. We have a religious freedom, and we must respect each other's religion and the way we worship.
Well, National EMTV News continues with Trukai Sports. That's coming up next, and we'll give you all the details when we come back. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports in football, and things are heating up going into the final day of action in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. It's been a smooth one so far for Cook Islands as they face American Samoa. The winner of this competition will enter stage 2 and play against the likes of Fiji, Vanuatu and Papua New Guinea.
The Cook Islands earned a narrow 1-0 victory over Samoa on matchday 2, and with 6 points and a clean sheet, the two sides hoping to chase them down have a lot of goal scoring to do. American Samoa's repeat 2-1 victory over Tonga opened things back up for them after going down 3-2 to Samoa in their opening match. Now level on points with their neighbours, if they can get the right result, they can be notching up another milestone. Taylor Sagabi has all 4 of the Cook Islands goals, and he doesn't look like he'll be stopping anytime soon. And while Sagabi is a threat from anywhere on the park, Harlem Simeona is equally hard to shut down, as the Samoans found. The wide midfielder causing trouble for defenders with darting runs and excellent on ball control. At times a little shaky at the back, the Cook Islands will no doubt be making the necessary adjustments to keep American Samoa as far from the target as possible. No longer are the American Samoans the minnows of the region. The side includes some talented up-and-comers alongside some seasoned campaigners, which has proven a good combination for coach Larry Manao.
Very happy. Well-earned, hard-fought victory. Boy, Tonga was tough.
Captain Ramin Ott has made light-hearted references to his age. He appears in his 3rd World Cup qualifying campaign, but his on-field performances show he has plenty more to give and the willingness to give it. In the earlier match, Samoa would be gunning to finish on a high with a win against Tonga, key for keeping themselves in the hunt. Not being able to use their speed and general accuracy to their advantage against Cook Islands, coach Phineas Young would be hoping a day's rest will be enough recovery time for his side as they look to pull out all the stops. But this team is firmly focused on their final performance and the importance of trying to secure a win on home soil. With plenty still on the line and no one wanting to go home without giving their absolute all to progress, fans can expect a lot more from the final 2 encounters. Jeremy Moggy, National EMTV Sports.
Well, Sports Minister Justin Chichenko is disgusted after learning that Oceania Swimming Association and FINA have permitted Fiji to host the 2016 Oceania Swimming Championships. He questioned why Fiji was granted a 3-week extension to seek government support to facilitate the tournament when PNG had the facilities and full support from the national government. History has shown that countries that host Pacific Games traditionally host the next Oceania tournament. The minister added that PNG has invested multi-millions of kina into the best aquatic facility in the Pacific with the most up-to-date FINA-approved pool and equipment. Chichenko has written to the President of Oceania Swimming Association and Vice President of FINA, Dennis Miller, regarding this matter. Well, Trukai Sports continues after this break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Good to have you back with Trukai Sports. In a bid to raise the profile of the game and develop more skillful players, the PNG Football Association will introduce a 5-a-side competition called futsal. As part of that, the Don Bosco Technological Institute here in Port Moresby played host to the first of its kind futsal clinic.
The clinic began on Monday and focused on different aspects of the game.
Unlike the 11-a-side version of the beautiful game, futsal has only 4 outfield players and a goalkeeper, and is played on a court rather than a pitch. Because of this, the workshop participants were taught a number of different technicalities involved in the sport, which is quite popular in countries like Brazil, Spain and Argentina.
A futsal course in the history in Papua New Guinea, and to teach and work with coaches, a new coach. The coach then can go back home and start to introduce futsal in the community, organize teams, teach the players, and until we start play competition.
Giuliano Schimel, FIFA's representative and course instructor, is very positive in the feedback that he has received from the participants.
The theory in afternoon practical, and like after the second, third day I can see like the coach getting more involved with questions, and yeah, I'm pretty happy for the coach.
For us here, we play Benjoim, Tandisani we play Linim, because we play now the coach there. First plus Sunday lo come up so we play Plantilanim Tandisani, especially lo coach side, especially lo coach young Plamangi. Lo come up next generation was la FIFA futsal.
And while they plan to expand the sport to other centers, DBTI is the very first.
Of making always saying yes and supporting our program as well, because the moment we develop players, the moment we organize, we are developing players. We'll never know. Time comes, they will be coming here and scouting the players who is the best to represent PNG.
Competition has slowly been building momentum, with a host of clubs in the nation's capital already showing keen interest. Futsal teaches players in many skills that can be used in the larger version of football. And many gifted players like Brazil's Ronaldinho and Neymar began their careers by playing the sport. Shane, Saroya National, EMTV Sports.
Over to NRL, and after last night's match, the Melbourne Storm proved that they are not out of the NRL Finals contest. Their 15-8 win over Brisbane Broncos at Suncorp Stadium was a reminder that a side of their quality with many young stars can be regarded as a premiership contender. Storm began the final round in 5th place, but now stand on the edge of finishing in the top 4 after 2 successful wins.
Desperately trying to get
10 minutes after kickoff, the Broncos post points after Anthony Milford was caught in an awkward and late tackle from Ryan Hinchcliffe. Corey Parker kicked the penalty to lead 2-0.
Put him down on the pitch. Parker is right on line.
Cameron Smith set up the Storm's first try of the night after a set play sent Kurt Mann to score in the corner. Smith missed the conversion, leaving the score at 2-4.
Just going across the face of the...
A penalty was given to the Broncos for a lifting tackle. Anthony Milford took the kick in front of the Storm's goalpost to level the scores. Just before halftime, the Storm scored their second through William Chambers.
Chambers gets it down for Melbourne second.
An unfortunate night for Cameron Smith as he misses the conversion. The Storms now lead 8-4 at halftime. In the second half, Storms dominated again to see Kurt Mann cross over for his second.
I thought they might have stopped it, but they've gone on with it.
The Broncos then managed to score a try through Ack Reed with a missed conversion kick. The score remained at 8-14.
To a kick that Cameron Smith had earlier.
With 2 minutes left in the game, Cooper Cronk sealed the victory with a drop kick.
He turns his back, he looks at the referee, he puts his hand up in the air, and
Elijah Levette, National EMTV Sports.
Well, that story wraps up True Kai Sports tonight. We'll have all your weather details for the next 24 hours when we come back. Stay tuned.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In southern region, Port Moresby, Karama and Alatau, to look forward to cloudy intervals tonight with slight chances of light showers. In Momase, all centres to look forward to showers. In the New Guinea Islands, brief showers expected in Buka, rain in Kavieng, Kokopo and Rapal. And lastly, in the Highlands region, all centres to look forward to possible brief showers, then morning fog. Now, before we go, quickly recapping our main headlines again tonight. Pacific Group to present West Papua case at PIF meeting. Also, Daru teachers threaten to boycott national exams, and Response Committee wants more funds to assist in relief efforts. Well, that's been the news this Friday, the 4th of September 2015. From the news team, I'm Tokana Hasavi Jr. I'll see you again on Monday, but until then, you take care and enjoy your weekend. Good night.